The Super Bowl team that I'm going to say right now, we're going to have this on record.
Give it to us.
This team last year was killed by injuries on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense, I wouldn't say was the best, but they're not the worst. They have a running back to be a top 3 running back in the league. This guy broke his ribs last year and played with basically no wide. He didn't play with his starting wide receivers like at all last year, with them all on the field, and they still did pretty decent.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Tiebreaker Podcast, episode 51, and this is the big one. Jackson, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm sure you have,
Yes, sir.
but we get NFL football this week. Not preseason, not teams opening training camp. We got real football this week, bro.
We got Colts on Sunday, obviously. And then, doing this Thursday, we're getting blessed with. It's probably going to be one of the highest scoring games of the year. Lions versus Chiefs. It's going to be amazing, honestly.
Yeah, and welcome back to all the listeners out there and all the viewers on YouTube. I'm going to say it real quick right now. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow the shows on all the audio platforms because, like I said, it's easy to get, complacent in the offseason, not doing episodes. You don't really know what to talk about.
The only thing that we get hype about in the offseason is, we go to the training camp every year, but the main thing that I can't stand about the offseason is it's just, all we're doing is it feels like we're just circling around everything. It's just it's all right, this team could be good this year. What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
There's some news. You heard the news from ESPN. Really, it's
right.
Unless it's something wild like the JT news. That's the only thing I like talking about.
Yeah, and also I want to say real quick, I'm not talking anything about Jonathan Taylor in this episode because that's literally all we've heard and talked about for the last a month here in Indy. So, dude, he's on the PUP list. We'll see him in 4 weeks, maybe. If we even will. We can talk about it in about a month here on the podcast. But right now, I don't really care to talk about JT, if you agree with that.
So I guess you didn't really have this down, but I think we could start out with this, with the week 1. So we're not talking about JT, so we can talk about other running backs of the Colts. So
yep.
What's the latest news, if we have any, on James Robinson working out for the Colts? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I wouldn't put any, hype into it. He hasn't really been much of anything since he tore his Achilles. I heard some people talking about it on the radio this morning. He's cool and he can probably maybe he'll join the team. But like I said, it was just like you said, it was just a workout with the team the other day. I don't really put much thought into it. Zach Moss should be back maybe week 1, but if not, definitely week 2.
I think
he has
Deion was named the starter.
Yeah, it'll definitely be the Deion Jackson, Evan Hull show. Steichen loves, the running back by committee approach. Obviously, we're going to have to without JT. But the whole Robinson thing, I don't really care about. The Kareem Hunt storyline was here for a little bit, then it wasn't. And then now, after the JT pup thing, it came out that maybe the Colts are interested again. I'm not even high on Hunt for many reasons. Obviously, we all know the big reason why. But I think Jackson and Hull are going to be our guys, which I'm cool with. I like Evan Hull. I like Deion Jackson. They've shown stuff. And then once Zach Moss gets back out there, we'll have 3 decent running backs. That's not JT, obviously, but I think we'll be okay in that regard.
Yeah, I hope. I like Deion Jackson a lot. You saw. You heard me 2 off seasons ago, I think, or last off season. Just watching him, he looks like someone that shouldn't be a RB3 somewhere. He's a good backup running back.
And even Zach Moss was okay for us to end the season last year.
He balled out.
Yeah, the O-line kind of picked back up. We're going to talk about the O-line a little bit later on this pod, but if the O-line's good, I think, obviously the running game will be.
And I've got a lot of hope in Evan Hull too, because Evan Hull, he gives you he's just real shifty. I like that about him. When he gets the ball, he's electric. He can do anything with the ball in his hands. I honestly like him better than the Funk. What was his name? Funk?
Jake Funk.
Yeah.
He's on our practice squad though. Anyways, he got cut and then we signed him back to the practice squad. And back to Evan Hull, he's definitely probably going to be our 3rd down back. He's more of a power back,
pass catching guy.
Yeah, I can see that as well for Richardson. But let's get into week 1. We have, of course, bro, we got a divisional game. And of course, it's Jacksonville. Luckily, though, it's not in Jacksonville because that would have been an automatic loss.
Yeah, anytime you play
Probably a
Jacksonville in
shutout.
Jacksonville, it's an automatic L. So
Yeah, man. I'm gonna ask you though, can we break the week 1 curse? We have not won a week 1 game since
okay,
2013. And I'm gonna ask you, do you know the last team we beat week 1? Can you guess at all?
it was the Phil Rivers season, wasn't it? No.
No, 2013, bro.
Oh, 2013. That would
Yeah,
have been Andrew Luck's second year, right?
maybe, yeah, something
Because
like that.
this is crazy. I know this. Andrew Luck's first game with the Colts played the Bears, and we lost, and he put up like over 300 some yards that he passed.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. This was either his first or second year. So was it like the Titans or something?
No, it was the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders.
I don't remember.
In
that.
Lucas Oil, the last time we won a week 1 game. And I hate saying that out loud, dude, because it's 2023. It has been 10 years since we have started 1-0.
So,
But can we break that curse?
so this is what I'm thinking right now is if you look at I get feelings about Colts games sometimes. Like we've watched them for so long, we get a feeling when we're gonna either get blown out. Maybe like even the Chiefs game last year we won. I had a feeling like we can play to. Usually, what we're known for is playing to our competition.
Facts.
We'll play with our competition no matter how good or bad. We tie with the Texans and beat the Chiefs, like that shows what happened last year.
And the Eagles. Remember the Eagles game? It was so close.
I got a feeling we're gonna play a lot better than people think going into this game. If you look at the FanDuel, like the lines of the game, we're a 6 point or a 5 point underdog, but our money line's only like plus 170, which shows that they don't expect us to really get blown out of the water. They're expecting us to win or lose by no more than a score, pretty much is what they're showing. So
like just under a touchdown.
So I think that we're gonna be in this game. It's not gonna be a blowout of the water. I think it's gonna be. We're probably gonna keep up with the team, but I don't think we're gonna be able to win it. I think it's just gonna depend on obviously Anthony Richardson if he's gonna show out and show that he's a true baller yet, or if he's gonna be able to have to. Obviously, like people are looking at is if he's gonna have to progress obviously through the year.
So you're predicting that the week 1 curse is still going to be in effect this year. We're starting out 0-1.
Yeah, I'm expecting us to probably be.
Damn.
I think we're probably going to lose this game 20-27, something like that. I really think because I don't like our DBs playing Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, like
Right.
and then you also got Travis Etienne to worry about, and then Tank Big. Like that's a really good offense. But the thing that I'm worried about, like with the Jacksonville, like you said, their O line's kind of banged up. They're suspended, but
Yeah, their starting left tackle's out for the first 4 games, and then even their backup, this Walker Little guy, he's already questionable on the week. I mean, he'll probably play, but he's banged up. So, I mean, I think the most important unit on our entire team this week, if it's not our young cornerbacks, it's going to be that D line,
Yeah.
Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, stuff like that. And if last year, dude, in both of our games against Jacksonville, the one shutout loss we had in Jacksonville, week 2, Trevor Lawrence threw 25 of 30. I think in our home game, he only had 2 incompletions on the whole day. So, like, we have to figure out a way to disrupt Trevor Lawrence, and it starts obviously up front.
when we beat Jacksonville last year, wasn't it from the strip sack? Like, you remember that? I think we won it off the strip
Obviously,
sack.
remember
Alec Pierce's touchdown.
Alec Pierce's walk-off. Yeah, but I don't remember what happened before that. But, yeah, Trevor Lawrence was 20 of 22 in the second game at home or in Indy. Like, you can't have that at all. We can't have any quarterback in the league only incomplete 2 passes, let alone Trevor Lawrence. Because all that does, dude, is he's just in rhythm. You have to figure out a way to disrupt him. And like we said, how banged up their O-line is.
Yeah.
We've said this a lot about our defensive line. Like, going into a game, we should disrupt them. We should eat, and we don't. But it has to start this Sunday. It has to.
The thing that's wild, I think, if you look at the lines, I know I keep talking about the lines of like the sportsbook and stuff, but that's how you can really tell I guess people are expecting to happen.
Yeah.
I still think in my mind, like if I'm not a Colts fan looking at this team, looking at them playing the Jags, I'm thinking the Jags are blowing the Colts out of the water. That's what I'm thinking because if you obviously what we just talked about, but also you have to realize like this is an offense last year that played really good, and then now you have Trevor Lawrence with an even better target, even better backfield.
Yep.
I mean, why would they still be only a?
I mean, Jacksonville, they're obviously probably the AFC South favorite. They're a pretty like decent underdog to like in the whole AFC to like kind of root for this year.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson, still establishing himself. Trevor Lawrence we know how good he is. Like the Colts have a tough matchup here, but I just think it being at home The
makes
home
it.
team has won
Yeah.
11 straight games in this matchup. We know how hard it is to win down there. It's just as hard for them to win up here. I don't know what it is about this matchup,
So if
dude,
you
but the
saw the
away
Colts
team
win,
cannot win.
if you saw the Colts win this game, would you think like, would you be like, holy shit, like that, or would you just think like, yeah,
I would.
kind of,
I
yeah,
would. Because I'm kind of expecting us to lose this game as well. I mean, I'm kind of with you. It'll be close, but Jacksonville's obviously the better team. The Colts lack a lot of depth. They don't have that good of a roster. But
this is
yeah, I
so
would be
cliche
like,
to say, but I feel like
I'd be wowed.
the way that this game's going to go is I feel like I really think we're going to be able to move the ball. I think that their teams aren't going to be ready for what Anthony Richardson can do with his running ability. We saw with Jalen Hurts and Steichen last year what that looked like.
Right.
So I think that that's what's going to keep us in this game is just Jacksonville not being able to prepare for us that well. But
Yep.
I think that this is so cliche to say, but it's going to be whoever wins the turnover battle, I feel like, is going to win this game. And sadly,
and
it's
with-
probably going to be Anthony Richardson throwing the picks. So.
Right. With a rookie quarterback, everyone knows how many games he played in college. He's going to make mistakes. I'm going to ask you, what do you want to, regardless if we win or lose, and this can be a big picture question on the whole year, but I'm going to focus it on just this one game. What do you want to see from Richardson on Sunday?
From Richardson, this is the one thing that if you guys look at my latest YouTube video, you'll see what I talk about with the quarterbacks with this. The one thing that I've lately been looking at with quarterbacks is it's just take every stat out of the question. If you can make a play on third down to get a first down, or you can keep drives going, that is the number one thing I want to see. I don't want to see you like just what we saw from Matt Ryan last year. That's what I don't want to see. Obviously, you're not going to see that in Anthony Richardson, but I want to see if he could throw 3 picks, as long as he has the energy, he's going out there, he's converting these third downs somehow, he's making plays with his feet, he's making plays with his arm. I don't care if he chucks 4 interceptions up. As long as I see that, we know. Because I think Andrew Luck threw like 3 picks in his debut. I'm going to look that up to make sure I'm not crazy.
Yeah, and we all know Peyton Manning broke the interception record as a rookie. I'm going to answer my question, what do I want to see from Richardson? Because this is what I kept saying in the preseason, I want to see scoring drives, preferably touchdowns, because we didn't see him throw any touchdowns in the preseason. I want to see scoring drives. I want to see a little bit of that deep ball, whether it's to Alec Pierce or Pittman.
Yep.
I want to see that running ability, like you said, on third downs, be able to extend drives. And then what he did pretty well in the preseason is bouncing back from mistakes. He's probably going to throw 1 or 2 interceptions this game. What's that drive look like after those picks? You know, we saw it in Buffalo. He threw that early pick. He immediately bounced back, drove down the field. We saw it against the Eagles. He had that first 3 and out to open the game. Every drive after that, drove down the field, got field goals, got touchdowns. So I just like, if you're a rookie, how do you bounce back from those inevitable picks or fumbles or whatever is going to happen? And I think Richardson has shown a lot of poise, and that's what you ask anybody what they're high on. You ask Steichen what he's high on about Richardson is his maturity and his poise and how he bounces back. So that's what I just want to see that. Like, that's literally it.
I don't care if
that's the entire season. I don't care how much we win.
Yeah.
Just show me something from Richardson.
Show us something that we're not just.
And it feels good to finally be in that. We're not stressing every Sunday with Matt Ryan or Wins or Rivers that we have to win.
The only way
not
I
like
can
that
compare our feeling about the Colts last year and the years before is like when you go and get a bag of chips and they're stale, but you're just so hungry that you eat it still. Like that's literally what it feels like to watch the Colts every year. And I feel like this year now it's like we got a new bag of chips. Like we're ready to go.
And it's the Wentz year was exciting. We had JT. Last year we were old at quarterback and we were boring on offense.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be that way this year. We should be exciting on offense, young at QB, and we'll still probably lose because the Colts don't have that good of a roster. I want to say something else. Never mind. Keep going. Never mind. I lost it.
I lost whatever we were saying, but I think like we're saying, to piggyback off what we're talking about, Anthony Richardson, you know, we just want to see him play football. We don't care if he makes his dumb mistakes, as long as he can show us something that we can at least have hope for. If he goes out there and absolutely throws like 4 for 18, throwing 3 interceptions, like I'm gonna be honest,
probably something Will Levis would do if he was our quarterback.
Well, like the one thing I don't want to see is, this sounds terrible, but like if you saw Justin Fields at the start of his career, I mean, he looked absolutely awful. He got better.
I mean, a big part of that was the Bears didn't help him at all.
The Bears didn't help him at all.
You could also argue that the Colts really haven't done much to help Richardson either.
Yeah,
so I mean that's a storyline to
I like the McKenzie and the Josh Downs move because we haven't had. Paris Campbell is himself. I don't think he's the best slot position. I think he kind of fits between the slot and receiver role on the outside.
Right.
But these are true small guys that are going to get the ball. They're going to do T.Y. Hilton type of things. Slot receiver, making plays. I like the route running from Josh Downs. I think McKenzie's going to bring
Dude.
Yeah.
So that Bears preseason game, when I was up doing replay, a lot of my cameras were ISO'd on Josh Downs. Dude, he's going to be good. Yeah. And, like, I understand now why the Colts were, like, so excited how much he fell in the draft. They were able to get him. We talked about it on previous pods about how much Shane Steichen likes his slot guys. Josh Downs is a dog.
Yeah.
And he's been Anthony Richardson's roommate this entire training camp, this entire preseason. Like, their relationship is, great. I think them two are going to make some crazy plays this year, not just Sunday, but, like, the entire year. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I just want to see, like, dude, I want to see hope from our young guys. That's it. It's literally, our whole season relies on if these young guys can just step up. That's literally all it is.
Yeah, just show us something, especially not even on the offense. On the defensive side of the ball, dude, our corners we're banking a lot on their potential, not what they've already shown, just because they're so young.
Yeah.
Jalen Jones, Dallas Flowers, Juju Brents, all these cornerbacks. Dude, there's a world, and I'm a biased Colts fan, but there's a world where these dudes come out and, like,
ball,
exceed expectations like no other, and we actually might have a pretty good defense. Or, they show how young they are, they show how inexperienced they are, and they get picked apart by Trevor Lawrence and all these other quarterbacks we're going to play this year. But, like, that's okay with me, because as long as they show us a little bit of something every week, we can build on it.
I think that, like, I just hope that they come out and play. But the thing is a lot of people are overlooking the Colts. I'm not just saying this because we're in Indianapolis, we're biased as hell. Maybe it is, but yeah, there you go. But the main thing is like, we have a really, 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 really easy schedule this year. Like,
especially compared to, like, other years.
Like, I'm gonna break this down. I'm not sure if this is gonna take off our faces right here, but I'm gonna look this up. Colts schedule. We have, because I was doing the playoff predictor where you could, like, pick all your teams and stuff to win what games.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is I realized I kept having the Colts do a lot better, and I was trying not to be biased, but we play the Texans twice, which to me, I think that should be 2 wins. Okay,
is that really every year thing? Probably obviously. Not.
We play the Rams. We don't know we saw the Rams last year. We're gonna beat them if they play like last year. If Cooper Kupp's not healthy, we're gonna beat them. Play the Titans. Who are the Titans gonna be? We have no idea. And we play the Panthers,
the
Browns,
Saints,
like the Falcons, the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are, I think they're gonna be better than what people think too. But the Falcons are a team that I think are terrible. Do we play the Cardinals at all this year? Because that would be icing on the cake.
No, we don't. I wish. We play the Raiders again way late in the season. And a lot of these is we play, because in previous years, dude, we've had all these, like, superstar quarterbacks coming and Lucas Oil and torch us. This year, you could argue that Trevor Lawrence is probably going to be the best quarterback that we play at home the entire year. And we get him week 1. I mean, Jacksonville at home, the Rams at home, like you said, Cleveland's at home, the Saints are at home, the Bucks are at home, Pittsburgh's at home, the Raiders are at home.
He is going to be the best quarterback we see.
100%.
That could help us out too. I think that we have the defenses we play aren't that good either. I mean, we play like the Patriots, of course, the Rams. I don't know how their defense is looking without Ramsey, but
Baltimore.
I mean, a lot of it is, it's just like our division itself is just straight dog water. But
yeah, it's so wide open.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the Colts this year. Hopefully they can.
And it's a little bit like that Rivers year. Granted, that was a COVID year, so there was a lot of other factors that played into it. But those teams that we played that year just were not that good, which is why we somehow found ourselves in the wild card, almost able to beat the Bills. But there's a world, bro. I'm telling you, if Anthony Richardson comes out and exceeds expectations, if Steichen can do what he's done previous and everywhere else. Granted, he's a head coach this year, first time head coach, but, like, I don't know, man. These teams, the schedule isn't that good. On the flip side, like I've said already on this pod, the Colts roster really isn't that good. The depth really isn't that good. We're a couple injuries away on the O-line, on the cornerbacks, from being even worse because our depth is just terrible. But, like, looking at it on paper right now, the schedule isn't that bad.
Well, this is like my bold prediction for the Colts this year, I guess I could say, is that I think that if they stay healthy, when I say stay healthy, people are going to get hurt. But I mean, like, Anthony Richardson doesn't go down. Right. 2 receivers don't go down, that kind of thing.
Right.
I think there is a world where we can go 500 or better, maybe even a 9-8. But the thing is I've been doing this playoff predictor a bunch, just like going through it and trying to see like what my averages are, what teams I'm picking, and dude, 9-8 is not going to make it to get to a wild card. There's going to be so many teams because I have the Chargers and the Chiefs both starting out like 10-1 or like 10-2,
Yeah.
10-1. Like
I mean, the AFC is just that deep.
you got
and we said that last year, and they got even better this year.
Chargers, Bengals, Ravens, Chiefs,
Dolphins,
Jets, Bills. That's 7 teams right there. All those teams are teams that could literally be the number 1 seed. And that's 7 teams. That's the whole entire.
But 3 of those teams that we just said are 3 of 4 teams in one division, so there could be a lot of teams beating up on each other, which could help the Colts.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even say the Jags. So, like, I don't know, man. The AFC is that deep and that scary. But, I mean, in a realistic world, the Colts don't need to make the playoffs this year. Just show us something.
Yeah.
We still need to build a lot of our roster. And that's just
pretty
what
much
happens
the best
when
thing
you
that
have a rookie
happened technically would be for us to be bad so we can get some more draft picks. But
100%.
If we're gonna be good, I hope we're good. I hope if we're gonna be bad, we're just not
Bad, but Richardson isn't bad.
Yeah, I hope we're.
I would love to be like terrible, but Richardson like be good.
Yeah, I hope that's what happens. I think that's what we can say is we hope that our team is dog water and that Anthony Richardson's a baller. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and do you think fans here in Indy and all the fans around the country that are Colts fans do they have the brain capacity and the function to like accept that? Because I think they do. I think
they're probably
realize
asking
what we
us,
have.
do we have the brain capacity to understand that we're gonna be bad? Like me saying that we're gonna be 500, we could be 500. Like would probably just if I said that on some big network, they'd probably just literally kick me out of the call. They'd be like
100%.
They'd be like you're dumb. But
Yeah.
I think with the strength of our schedule, I think that is a real possibility that could happen. So
Agreed. Let's move on from talking just Colts Jags, their game week. Let's go some storylines again outside of Richardson to watch this season. I'm going to start off 2 of our trenches guys. I think Kwity Paye and Bernard Reinman. If you guys don't know who Bernard Reinman is, he was our rookie left tackle last year. He showed pretty good signs, especially towards the end of last season. Their 2 development. Who do you think is more important, Reinman or Kwity Paye?
Kwity Paye, because
Think so?
we can have. Are you talking about our O line?
Yeah. Reinman or Paye? You're saying Paye?
So the reason why I'm saying Kwity Paye is because with the quarterback we have, I think the O line isn't going to be as important as it was when we had someone like Matt Ryan, where literally
Especially
if
Matt
one
Ryan.
person gets past the line, it's over.
Done for.
So
it's a fumble or it's a pick or it's a sack.
If Kwity Paye can go out there, step up for the defense, there's so many young guys on defense that we need someone to really ball out. We don't even, we can get into it in a second, but like Shaq, we don't know what's going on with him. He's just pulling money out of the Colts system right now. But so yeah, I think Kwity Paye, if he can have a big year, that'd be great.
I can agree with that because, dude, imagine an opposing O-line. If Kwity Paye is showing flashes, 1, he needs to stay healthy, but 2, if he shows flashes on the edge, all that's going to do is open it up for Grover Stewart and Buckner in the middle. So, like, I can see that. Personally, I think Bernard Reinman is a little bit more important just because you want to – the left tackle is probably the 2nd or 3rd most important position in all of football behind the quarterback. As young as he is, and ever since Costanzo left, the Colts haven't had that guy. So if Bernard Reinman just can show that he can continue his development, and you did say that the quarterback we have is a little bit like the O-line maybe isn't as important, but I think the O-line needs to play a huge role because with a mobile quarterback, dude, if Richardson breaks for a 60-yard run or a 40-yard run or a 15-yard run on a 3rd and 10, and they gets called back because those O-linemen are holding because they're not used to a mobile quarterback. That because we saw that in the preseason already. Like that's gonna frustrate the hell out of
especially on plays
all
when
the
Anthony
fans.
Richardson's not sliding. Because we saw that some of his runs he didn't want to slide, and I'm like, we saw what happened with Andrew Luck with that. Andrew Luck didn't slide. He was someone that was gonna run you over, and if you saw you. So
Bills fans talking about Josh Allen, same thing. But I just think the Bernard Reinman is a little bit more important just for the more longevity and of Anthony Richardson and just the Colts O-line getting back to that, that role that we all knew that they were capable of a couple years ago because they were bad last year. But I think it's a great point to, defensive line versus O-line. Another one, Pittman and his role in the offense. I think he has a big year coming up because it's a contract year for him as well.
I don't know about Pittman. I've always been down on Pittman. I don't know
You
why.
have.
I don't know
I
why
mean,
I've
he
been.
he hasn't shown you any really thing to be
But the thing
super high
is
on him.
like he does show us the I guess you could say like the reason why he is where he is because he's tough. He's very tough. That's his thing. He'll get the ball. He'll run you over. He's not someone that's gonna catch the ball and go down. He's gonna go up for it. He's made some crazy plays that we've seen, but also I think him and Pierce have a big dropping problem. I think that like Alec Pierce especially just that's a lately kind of thing. Alec Pierce
Yeah.
has been dropping balls like left and right.
Well, to be fair, they have to get used to Richardson's piss missiles coming
Yeah,
at him. Now,
that's true.
I'm on the side of Richardson. You probably need to take a little bit off of those, but at the same time, that's our quarterback now, and
Yeah.
they have to get used to that, which they probably will. But yeah, their drops have been pretty bad.
Pretty bad. And I think the thing with Pittman is I don't know. I just feel like I don't know what it is about him, dude. Just I think the reason why I don't like him is because the quarterbacks we've had going to him, we haven't used him in the deep threat at all. He's always been a
Agreed.
slant guy. On third down, the slants
Yep.
getting hit over the middle. I think that's
Which,
him.
like, if everyone on our roster, you probably want him to be that guy because, like, you started off talking about him, his toughness is next level.
Yeah. So
But my thing is, I want to see he has 11 career touchdowns. Like for a wide receiver one, I'm trying to no bullshit. I'm trying to see 11 in 1 year.
yeah.
Like be that guy that Richardson can go to, especially in the red zone. His big body, his toughness. Like I want to see Pittman get a touchdown a game. I want to see Pittman have multiple games where he's getting 2 or 3 touchdowns. Now I know that's a lot. You have a rookie quarterback. Are we even going to be scoring that many touchdowns in the game? But like I've said that Pittman's whole career, like, dude, you need to catch touchdowns. So hopefully this year, and I mean, he's probably saying the same thing about himself as well. Like, he needs to get in the end zone a lot more.
I think one of the biggest things too this year for the Colts is our red zone offense last year was. I mean, I don't know the statistic on it, but it had to have been last. It had to have been last.
Dude, everything in our
It would
offense
have
is
been
probably last
33rd
last
if it
year.
could have been. But the thing is I think with our offense, the way we saw them run, not even only in the preseason but also in training camp, a lot. So Isaiah McKenzie, I think, is gonna be someone to watch in the backfield. I think Josh Down. When I say backfield, I mean the motions back there. I think the motions
Yeah.
and all that good stuff is gonna help us out so much because now you have to worry about a slot receiver getting a handoff, or I guess you could say a pass, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
A pass. You have to worry about, I guess, a Pittman fade. You have to worry about the RPO. You have to worry about Anthony Richardson running it in. So there's so many things. Like last year, it was either going to be Taylor or Pittman. That's all you had to worry about. That's the only thing you had to worry about.
And probably 2 or 3 seconds for Matt Ryan because our O line was so bad.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from Pittman, more storylines outside of Richardson to watch this season. We kind of already talked about it. We can kind of glance over this one. The O-line just trying to bounce back from last year. Like I said, their depth is so bad. So hopefully, I mean, everyone stays healthy, but I mean, it's the NFL. It's O-linemen. You know, they get guys rolled up underneath them, ankle injuries, knee injuries. Hopefully they can stay as healthy as they can because their depth is ass. Moving on from that, I think an underrated storyline that I heard people talking about on the radio this morning was how long is Steichen able to call plays efficiently? How does that look and how long does that last? Because if you guys didn't know, last year in Philly, or not, maybe 2 years ago, Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, started the year calling out plays as the head coach. Credit to him, he learned that that's not going to be the best thing to do. He gave Steichen, the OC in Philly, the play calling duties. How long does Steichen, is he able to do that here? We'll see. Because Frank Reich did it, and maybe that was
so
part of his
bad,
downfall.
dude.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, my God.
Yep. How long will Steichen call plays, if any? Maybe he'll do the whole year. Maybe he'll be fine. But one more storyline, Kenny Moore and Shaq Leonard. You talked a little bit about Shaq Leonard earlier. He finally got back healthy in quotes, played all of training camp. Didn't play anything in the preseason, I believe. Maybe I could be wrong. If he did, I don't remember it.
Preseason, I think is what happened.
Yeah, and he's been on concussion protocol ever since one of the joint practices. I think it was the Eagles, maybe the Bears. Steichen says he's progressing. We'll see how long he's out for with concussion. It seems like it's always something with Leonard. All we want to see as fans is him back on the field because we know what he can bring.
Dude,
but what do you think about Kenny Moore?
Kenny Moore, I think he's I think a top 10 corner in the league easily.
If he gets back to it, because last year was bad.
Last year was pretty weird, pretty bad. I don't know what that was all about. I think that
Did Hunter Renfrow ruin Kenny Moore? Is that a valid question?
Bro,
Because he got
that's
torched,
wild.
and it.
That's crazy that you just said that he got his career
Am I
ruined by
wrong,
Hunter
dude?
Renfrow.
Dude, go back to that game. Look what
Oh my
Renfro was
God.
doing. All the Colts needed to do was beat the Raiders. We were in the playoffs.
Yeah. Wait, no. Wait, what year was that?
That was the wins here.
No,
Was the
that
second
we
to
played the
last.
Jag. Oh, I guess we played the Jags too, but yeah, it started out with the Raiders.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And Kenny Moore was
Was
getting
it Henry?
cooked.
Was it Henry Ruggs that was burning him?
No, it was Renfro.
Oh, it was Renfro. I'm stupid.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Yeah. Yeah. Kenny Moore. I think. Fuck. I think he's. If he can just play the way he plays, he'll be good. But I want to move on to Shaq. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. This is a guy that I love and hate so much. So when he plays, I love him.
love
When
him,
he
dude.
doesn't play, I hate him, dude. It's like I don't hate him, but as a Colts business right now, he was the highest paid linebacker whenever he signed his deal.
Yeah, it was like just under 100 mil, I think.
Crazy amount somewhere. But let's just give the money. Like, would you give that money just to JT? Like, would you be like, all right,
Nah.
I don't know, man. I think
And I think I said this on this pod. The reason
know
we're
why.
so like high on Shaq Leonard is because like what the standard that he has put on himself. We see the turnover machine he is. There's a reason why every defensive player on this planet is punching the football now because of Shaq Leonard.
The thing that scares me about Shaq right now is I like him. I really hope he gets healthy and plays. I just hate the fact that he hasn't played in 2 years now, or maybe he's played, but it's been on and off.
Like he was on the field last year finally,
For
and then
one play,
he was
literally.
yeah,
he got hurt
yeah,
the first
and
play
then
he came in, I think.
and then Jeff Saturday was like, because remember Jeff Saturday was our coach last year for a little bit, but he was like, "No, you're not playing anymore. Take your surgery, get healthy." All off season this year, he was rehabbing. Like I said earlier, we saw him in training camp. He did a lot more than what was expected of him in training camp and the joint practices. Got concussed, and now he's in the concussion protocol, which I'm not that worried about. I mean, how many players?
Well,
in
the reason why I'm worried about it is
protocol?
because I can't remember where I saw. I think it was an interview or something. It might have been a podcast I listened to. I remember him saying something about when he got his back problem. He was initially he was like, "Oh man, this is pretty serious." How much can my body take is pretty much what he was thinking.
Right.
And now that he's
Of a player his caliber as
yeah,
well.
and now he's getting concussion after a back injury. I feel like that's mentally for me. If I had a back problem and then I get concussed right after, I'm thinking look, if I keep getting hurt with these bad injuries, because a concussion isn't something bad that we think about, but within yourself, if your head being messed up, that's a pretty hard injury to deal with.
Yeah.
But having two pretty serious injuries, I think that is something that's going to mentally deal with him. He even coming out said that on his first training camp day, he was kind of, worried about how he was going to come out there and play. Is he going to come out there and be normal, or is he going to be still back?
Because this guy has had so many injuries. Any kind of setback like this concussion is just. And now I'm not just making a joke because it's his head, but that's gonna mess with his mental. He had all this progress this year in training camp, way more than expectations thought, and now you have this setback. How does it, deal with him? I think he'll be fine. I think he showed enough this training camp that I think he kind of is back.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we'll even play this week. Maybe the Colts take it slow. They're like, no, we don't want to see him this week. But obviously, we'll see as if he practices this week or not. But I think it's a big year for Leonard. If we can get him back, even a fraction of what he was,
yeah,
it just
he
adds
changed
to
the
his
whole
defense.
defense. That's what he did. He changed
Dude.
it. Literally. I mean, he's someone. I think he makes strips. He makes strips all the time. I think he had how many takeaways was it that almost
That wins here?
Yeah, it was I want to say it was double digits.
It was almost every game. And even last year, I was in the stadium against the Commanders. You might have been as well. For that little bit of time he was in, he got a pick.
Yeah.
He's a ball hawk of that caliber.
Yep.
Dude, if we have him out there, I don't know, it could be something special, but I'm praying, man. He's probably one of my favorite players on this team, probably right behind Richardson right now. I just want to see him on the field. I want to see him healthy. I want to see him back just for his even his mental. He loves the game.
All right, let's move outside the Colts now. I guess we can talk.
It's a 34-minute Colts discussion. That was awesome.
It was pretty,
We're ready.
We've been holding that one in for a minute, but
we're ready.
To end that, yeah, Colts. Let's do good this year. Shaq, hope you're healthy. Kenny, let's ball out. Let's go. So there's a lot of NFL teams getting hyped this year, but there's one team that the NFL has been pushing really hard, Hard Knocks, all of this. The Jets, have they gotten too much hype already for what they're about to be?
Yes.
You think so?
And I want to see them do good just because I hate the Bills so much. But I'm already like, dude, how are the Jets supposed to be this good? You know, like
I
they
think.
haven't shown us anything.
Well, I think last year they showed a lot. I think their defense showed a lot.
They did.
Their
You're
defense
right.
was
You're
pretty
right.
good last year. I think the reason why there's teams like this that I root for is because 2 years ago when I said that the Rams were going to win the Super Bowl, it was based off of a team just like this. It was a team that I thought that was, they had a really good year, but not good quarterback play. And they brought in a quarterback like Matthew Stafford. Now you can argue Aaron Rodgers might be different than Matt Stafford. I think if I had to say something right now without watching Aaron Rodgers play, I think Matt Stafford 2 years ago is better than Aaron Rodgers now.
Nah, no way.
You think so?
No way. I
Uh,
think Aaron Rodgers still has a lot left.
uh,
Granted, we see what Rodgers does every regular season. Can Rodgers get to the playoffs again with his Jets team and then do better than
I'm
he ever
also
did with the
talking about
Packers?
like I want to say this sounds bad because Matthew Stafford's hurt. I just feel like Matt Stafford. I feel like was more of a is more. I don't know. I don't want to argue this. This is such a weird discussion, but I think the Rams with Matt Stafford. I feel like I was more hyped about than Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, which a lot of people could argue that too.
I
But
mean, they're pretty similar though, just the way these teams have built themselves in each offseason. Remember how
yeah,
all in the Rams went that year? It worked out. They won the Super Bowl.
but now
Look
look
how
at them.
all in the Jets are going this year. Like that's a pretty like good comparison out of you, to be honest.
Yeah, the reason why I say that is because so badly, I want to say the Jets are my team. This is going to be my team to win the Super Bowl. I think that this is who I think can win it all. But I did that for the Rams 2 years ago, and I had no doubt in my mind that the Rams would win the Super Bowl, and they did it. And I'm not
You're
even
right.
trying to just flaunt that, but like to me, it was so serious in my head they were going to do it. But last year, I said the same thing about what team? The Broncos.
Broncos.
Like so that's what makes me skeptical about doing this. Maybe I did a little luck of that, but the Jets, I think, are either going to be a complete flop or they're going to be really good. And knowing how
Yeah.
good their defense played last year and what the talent they have with Garrett Wilson, even some of the younger guys on that team. I mean, Brees Hall, if he can come back to full form, he could be
Yep.
the best running back in the league, arguably. But
Yeah.
I think, is this my team this year? Like, do you think that this is the team that you think?
I want them to be just so they can, win the AFC East. I'm kind of a little bit. I kind of want to see what the Dolphins are going to do in that division as well. But I mean, it's the media and everything that's happened in this offseason has like already kind of made me tired of the Jets. But when the season starts, I'm gonna be like rooting for them, kind of just
Yep.
so they can challenge Buffalo. And I don't have to say it on this podcast. This isn't news. I don't like the Bills. So if anybody in that division can challenge Buffalo, I'm gonna, root for them. And I just want to say something. Last year, this Jets team was a 7-4 team through the first 12 weeks of the
With
season.
Mike White, wasn't it?
Well, that was all with Wilson, and then I don't know if they benched Wilson or if he got hurt. And then yeah, they ended the season with Mike White. They lost the last 6 games of the year. So like this team was good last year for a little bit, and they got even better this year on both sides of the ball. So I mean, everything is there for the Jets
Yeah.
to like be good for sure.
And Garrett
And
Wilson, we know he's him. Like that's the way he looks, the way he plays, the way you just see him go out there and catch balls. He looks amazing.
yeah, and the Wilson that I was talking about, well, obviously was Zach Wilson. That was the quarterback last year. Yeah, just for people listening. Now this season, I think they can only get better. They start. I'm over here talking about the Bills. Week 1, Monday Night Football is Buffalo hosting the Jets. So like that's gonna be a banger on Monday
Yeah.
night for sure. Another team I want to ask you is everyone super high on is the Lions. What do you think about Detroit?
I think it's the
Because
same.
I don't understand where all this hype
So-
come from with Lions.
I mean, last year they had a good season. It wasn't terrible
did.
compared to what they've had in the past. I mean, the thing is there's so much there. Their defense, I'm not sure really about their defense. I don't really know too much about their defense. I think it was pretty bad last year. I think they were very high scoring games. But the thing I like about him is Amon Ra. He's a top 10 receiver in the league.
He was helping me out on a
Maybe
bunch
a-
of my Madden videos. I'm not even gonna lie.
Maybe
He's beast.
he's nasty. But
He
the
is.
pick of Jameer Gibbs, and they have David Montgomery now too. I think that's a really good backfield. I think that
If you guys don't like, okay, you just said it. Jameer Gibbs, a rookie running back out of Alabama. For those listening,
Yep. And they're going to get Jameson Williams back sometime this year. I think that this is a team that I don't think can make a run for like a Super Bowl kind of run, but I think that this is a team that is going to maybe, with the division they're in, I think could easily make the playoffs.
Exactly. That division, especially ever since Rodgers left Green Bay, which we could talk about Green Bay, how you feel about Jordan Love, but I think the NFC North division is that wide open for the Lions, which is probably why people are a little high on them. I personally just don't have a lot of hope in Jared Goff. I think last year was kind of an anomaly. I mean, he did get his team to the Super Bowl, right? And they got absolutely pissed on. Was it the Chiefs
with the Rams?
To him?
Yeah, no,
yeah.
It wasn't the Chiefs. I think it was the Patriots.
It was somebody. I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right. And then they scored 3 points in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think that's the Jared Goff that I kind of know. I think last year, like I said, was a little bit of an anomaly.
But also think about this. Remember the game when the Rams put up 51 points against the Chiefs, 54-51?
Yeah.
It's about to be a rematch.
That was like Mahomes' coming out party. Yeah.
That's about to be the rematch Thursday night. It's going to be Jared Goff back playing against the Chiefs. This could be the over-under of that game, I think, is 54.5 or something, like 55 maybe. So they're expecting a pretty high-scoring game. But
Goff played good last year. It was a 9-8 team. He was fine, but I don't think that he's going to do that this year.
Another player I think that is going to be really good this year on their team is Sam Laporta, the tight end they got, mostly because the volume he's going to get from being one of the only tight ends that's there that has a name. Yeah. So
just something I had to ask about the Lions and the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be fine. I think the Lions are a little bit overhyped, but that division is so wide open that who knows.
Yeah. So if you had to pick a my guy and a my team this year that you're looking for, when I say this isn't your Super Bowl winner. This is a team that you think are going to do better than what people are seeing, and maybe a guy that's going to break out this year. Do you have anybody on your radar that you're looking at right now other than the Colts?
Other than Anthony Richardson. I don't know. You kind of just put this on me on the spot. I think a pretty good answer could be Trevor Lawrence as a my guy. I think everything's there for him. Continuity with his coaching staff, with his down the line in Jacksonville. I think he's shown a bunch. Who's your my guy?
So my guy would probably be Chris Olave this year. I think with the Saints, they got Derek Carr added. You've seen Derek Carr been doing bicep curls in the offseason. He's getting
hey, he's massive, bro.
I think there's a lot of guys I think could be my guy this year. I like Chris Olave. I like certain players like obviously Garrett Wilson. But I think Chris Olave is the one that not a lot of people know about, which if you're playing fantasy football, you know Chris Olave. He's going –
right.
If you play fantasy football, there's players that a lot of people know about that just casuals don't. But Chris Olave, I think that a lot of people are kind of overlooking it because if you see what he did last year, he had a really good rookie season. If he was to play every game, he would have outnumbered Garrett Wilson by a mile. He was also the only receiver there, which is another thing. But he was playing with who was it, Andy Dalton as his quarterback, maybe, or was it
maybe a little hill action sometimes?
It might have been. But the big thing is
it was Dalton though. I think it was Dalton.
They got Michael Thomas back. He's a healthy. He's good to go
for now.
People are thinking that he's gonna be he's there, so Chris Olave might be the 2. But what I'm thinking is, look what Derek Carr did with Devontae Adams. Look what he did with. Did he play with Amari Cooper back in the day? He had to have.
I don't know.
Yeah, but when you think of him, he always has a receiver that's pretty good.
And I think the Saints are kind of like the Lions, with their division is so wide open. They actually might be favorites in that NFC South.
I have them starting the season 4 or 5-1.
Yeah, they're a sleeper team for sure.
The only reason I'm not big too much on them to go too far is going to be because of defense.
Yeah, I don't know much about.
I don't know anything about their defense, to be honest. But
yeah.
So I'm gonna say my guy is probably gonna be Chris Olave. Now my team, I'm not gonna say it's the same as my Super Bowl winner prediction, but you don't know who my Super Bowl winner prediction is, which is kind of crazy. But I think another team. I'm not gonna say this is my team, but another team that's gonna outplay what we think is the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a team that
you said that earlier, and I was like, does Baker really still have that in him?
Baker comes in, but a big thing I'm pretty sure. So Geno Smith, you saw what he did last year, right? So their offensive coordinator, I believe, is the Buccaneers' offensive coordinator this year. And
interesting.
I think. Let me look at that up.
That kind of sucks for the Seahawks and Geno Smith. Why would they?
That's why I wasn't
not continue that.
Let me look this up. Let me make sure I'm not just blowing smoke up their ass. But coordinator 2022.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at the Bucks schedule right now, and that's like the hardest game they have. They host Philly on a Monday night, and they go to Buffalo Week 8 on Thursday night.
So no,
Other than that, their schedule really isn't that bad. And like we said about the Saints, that NFC South is so wide open. That's actually a pretty decent like sleeper team that you just said. The Bucks kind of have it all there waiting for them.
yeah. So I think it's I don't know his name. It's like David Canales or something. So if you look it up on Google, if you look his name up, it shows that he's still the Seahawks offensive coordinator. But if you look up Bucks offensive coordinator, it shows him. So
He probably is on
yeah,
Tampa Bay then.
yeah. So he's their offensive coordinator. I think he's gonna bring in what he did for Gino and them. I think that's gonna help them out a lot. So I think the Buccaneers are gonna perform a lot better than what we think. But for my team this year, if I had to really go for a team that I think it's just got to be the Jets. I feel like,
Yeah,
or
that's
even the
safe.
Dolphins. If Tua,
What about the Cowboys?
I don't know. I just don't like. I think the Giants are going to be better than them this year.
And obviously the Eagles
The
are there.
Eagles. I don't know about the Commanders, but my team is hard because the Super Bowl team that I'm going to say right now, we're going to have this on record.
Give it to us. 46 minutes into the pod. Who is your
46
Super Bowl?
minutes into the pod, I'm going to tell you guys exactly who's going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you exactly why, and this is how you're going to hear it. This team last year was killed by injuries on the offense side of the ball. Their defense, I wouldn't say was the best, but they're not the worst. They have a running back to be a top 3 running back in the league. This guy broke his ribs last year and played with basically no wide. He didn't play with his starting wide receivers like at all last year, with them all on the field, and they still did pretty decent.
I don't have any idea.
The
who
Chargers, they're gonna win the Super Bowl this year.
Chargers. Wait, I kind of like that.
Justin Herbert.
I love
he had
Justin
broken
Herbert.
ribs last year. He played. So I saw some crazy stat where like he's only ever played like 3 snaps. I think I want to say it was 3 snaps, or maybe it was 3 games, but 3 snaps or 3 games, one of the two, that's a big difference. But
Yeah.
with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen on the same field, and now they got Quentin Johnson. He's the wide receiver from TCU that is, I mean, huge. They also,
First round pick.
yeah, they got him, and then they also have Eckler. If Eckler can have a good year like he did every other year,
He's got to stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Now their biggest problem is going to be beating the Chiefs, beating those teams because it's the AFC. But I think the Super Bowl prediction could
I
easily
like that pick.
be the Chargers and, I mean, Eagles probably again, honestly.
Let me ask you this. I'm throwing this at you. I wanted to ask it earlier, and we were talking about my guy. Who are you more high on? I forget who I was going to compare it to, but let me ask you: how do you think Kenny Pickett's going to do this year for the Steelers?
Kenny Pickett, I don't know, dude. I have no idea. When he came to Indy, he looked good. That's the one thing
Yeah.
that we watched. That was like his first game that we were kind of like, okay, maybe this guy can really play quarterback.
Yeah.
Because when he started out, he didn't look too amazing, but he's.
I mean, you ask Steelers fans, they're obviously going to be high on their guy. I think he's shown you a little bit of stuff to be like, okay, this guy could be it. Way better than Mitch Trubisky. They're obviously going to roll with Kenny Pickett as QB1.
I think a good comparison could be like, do you think Kenny Pickett's going to play better than Baker this year? Like,
I like that.
that's a pretty.
I think so. I think he has a little bit more of a better team than the Bucks.
I don't know, because the thing that you could also
Better
say
coach.
is a lot of people overlook Deontay Johnson too on the Steelers. He's a 1,000-yard receiver, except for last. I don't know if he had 1,000 yards last year. He might have had it, but Deontay Johnson. A big thing about him in fantasy is last year, bro, he didn't have a single touchdown. So
Correct.
that's something that's gonna be wild. So
He had just under 1,000 yards, 882 in 2021. He had 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns.
yeah, so that's a big drop last year. I think that
9 more touchdowns career-wise than Michael Pittman.
yeah,
Just saying.
but the thing about the Buccaneers, a lot of people don't look at is their defense. I'm not exactly sure on. There's a lot of defenses I don't know about this year because there've been so many moves I haven't seen. But
Yeah.
you gotta realize they have Rashad White from the Patriots. I don't know how long he played with the Buccaneers last year, but they still have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yep.
So
They do. We'll see how healthy those two can stay because we know about Mike Evans. But yeah, I wanted to ask that earlier. I couldn't get it in. How you going to feel on Kenny Pickett? I think the Steelers. I mean, we all know how Mike Tomlin's going to run a show. They're probably going to go 500. They were a 9-8 team last year. I think everything's there for Pittsburgh. I think they have a pretty decent roster on both sides of the ball. Rookie Joey Porter Jr. Like, I don't know. I think they have it all there. I think they can be a pretty good sleeper team as well.
So
Obviously, they have to deal with the Ravens and the Bengals, but
who would be your Super Bowl winner team?
can I just take an easy route
If
and
you
be
say
like the Chiefs or
Chiefs,
the
if you
Eagles,
say
bro?
Chiefs, I don't. I really think it could be a rematch this year. I think that's a serious thing that could
The
happen.
Eagles, like, obviously it's week one, it's on paper. Dude, their roster is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like,
and they're
Nick
constantly
Sirianni is
making
definitely
moves.
going all in. They are. They're always that team to, like, I heard it on, I don't know if who said it, but they were like, on every potential move of any available player, the Eagles are always on the phone, which I
Yeah.
like that. That's how you be competitive. That's how you last in this league. If I had to pick a Super Bowl winner, I loved your Chargers prediction. I think Justin Herbert's all the way there. I'm gonna go Jets.
Okay, I
I'm gonna
like
I'm
it. I
gonna go
like it.
Jets.
I
I'm gonna go
like it.
Jets. I'm gonna take it easy. I
I,
don't like predicting stuff because it's impossible to. I'm
so
gonna go Jets.
so you're who'd you say your my guy was again?
Trevor Lawrence.
So your my guy's Trevor Lawrence. Your basically your Super Bowl winner is the Jets. I said my guy's Olave, and my Super Bowl winner prediction is the Chargers. Now, last one, I guess that can make this. If you can get all three, the trifecta. Who's the MVP next year?
MVP of the league
And if you're
is
going with the
gonna.
Jets, is it gonna be Aaron Rodgers? Like
Everything is there for Aaron Rodgers to be the MVP. I mean, how many MVPs has he won? Like, he had a back-to-back year.
a couple. He
Yeah,
might
he's
have
probably
won
won
the
two.
year he won the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably 2 or 3 MVPs already.
And he's been a
I
candidate like
mean,
every year.
yeah, it's gotta be either Josh Allen, Mahomes again, or Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion,
Yeah, and I think for
or
my
Herbert.
for mine, I'm going Herbert. I think Herbert is the QB1 this year. I don't know the reason why I'm so sold
Dude,
on the
I would
Chargers.
not. I mean, he was second in passing yards last year at 4,700. Like, he is that man. I
Was
would
he
not
really?
be mad. Yeah,
Because
4,700,
wasn't he out a couple
500
games?
behind Mahomes. He was, I believe.
I know he broke his ribs.
Yeah.
Um, or he might have like had like I don't know, but I think that just the stat of him not having Keenan Allen and Mike Williams ever out there on the same field, and then having them, and then adding Quentin Johnson onto that
Yeah.
field is like insane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like, imagine being in an opposing defense trying
yeah,
to
and then you got
figure that
Eckler.
out.
You have Eckler. Eckler's a top running back in the league. The people, I mean, he's getting drafted top 5 in fantasy. So I think that you don't see. I don't know. I just really think that if they can end up being those big teams like the Chiefs and stuff, they're gonna
I'm
get
gonna
there.
say it until I die, and I know we have Richardson now, which I'm cool with. But the Colts messed up that year where Justin Herbert was coming out of Oregon, where they had like the 12th or 13th pick. We traded it to get DeForest Buckner, and we could have done a better move to get Justin Herbert. And I was screaming it on draft day, get Justin Herbert,
Bro,
because he slid. I don't know
look
when
at my
the
pinned tweet on Twitter.
is that what it is? Something about that?
Do you not remember my pinned tweet in 2020?
Nah.
I think it was.
Uh-uh.
I'm gonna read this off for you guys. I think I've shown this to you, but I'm gonna say.
Was it something about Justin Herbert?
Oh yeah, it was definitely Justin Herbert. My pinned tweet. Let me find this.
Pin tweet on X?
Yeah, or X. My bad. Listen here, Colts. Jordan Love, he's got talent, but he's nothing crazy. If we take a QB, we gotta go for her. We gotta go for Herbert. His combine was A1. Trust me, he's gonna be something in the NFL.
Yeah,
the
and then you
Colts-
quote tweeted it a year later, or a couple months later, or no, a year later. I'm telling you, my scouting is good. You even tagged me, so the Colts should have listened to this. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, it's not like I'm trying to like be like, oh, I knew, because Herbert was obviously a really good quarterback coming into it. But I mean, the thing is I was so sold on. I was sold on. I don't remember who was all in that draft class, but
Neither do I. But I know that Herbert like kind of slid in that draft.
yeah, he didn't go. He was probably. Let me look at that. Herbert.
No, he was the 6th pick. 2020, round 1, pick 6.
So Joe Burrow went in that. Tua went in that. I want to say that was Trevor Lawrence's year, wasn't it?
Maybe.
No,
Maybe
Trevor Lawrence
21.
was definitely one. But yeah, he got picked. So I want to see, did Tua go above him?
2020 NFL
No,
draft.
Tua went after him. But
That was the year we got Pittman and Taylor. I know that.
so if we would have got Herbert and Taylor that year, that would have been insane. That would have been absolutely
Dude.
just insane.
So the
That was the
Colts-
most stacked draft class I've seen in a minute. They had Jay Jettas in that, C.D. Lamb in that, Jerry Jeudy in that.
Henry Ruggs.
God.
Yeah, and that was the year the Colts had the 13th pick. We traded it to the Niners. They ended up trading it to the Bucks. But that was Ballard, dude. He was so against drafting a quarterback because, when you draft a quarterback as a GM, that timer starts. He was such a trenches guy, which Buckner has worked for us. I get it, but like you had to make a move to go up in that top 10, in that top 6, and get Justin Herbert because we see now we're talking about the Chargers being in the Super Bowl and the Colts are, where the Colts are at.
Yeah, that was the year that we got Rivers, right?
Yeah, that was the Rivers year.
Yeah, dude, I wish you should have got Herbert.
Dude, I was screaming, bro. I was screaming to get Herbert, and Ballard didn't. Let's close this episode. We're almost an hour in. This has been a killer episode. Let's talk about Colorado football.
Colorado. So I wanted to add this in here.
Prime time.
I have never watched college football and been so hyped. Like, I don't care if you think that it's too much. Deion Sanders is doing too much. He came in, recruited all these people. It's not real. It's not old school football. Well, I like it a lot. I think that it brings a complete different vibe into what we're watching. It brings kind of a, dude, I don't know. It makes it so electrifying just to watch these players go out there and then just ball out.
What was it, like 90-something% of their entire roster is new players just because of what Coach Prime did?
Yeah.
Which he had to because Colorado was really bad last year.
Yeah, they won like one game. They already tied their what they did last year. Like
they were 21-point underdogs going into TCU. We know TCU was the runner-up last year. Granted, they got smacked against Georgia, but everybody got smacked against Georgia. And Colorado goes into TCU and wins.
The only thing I give them the bad, or I guess you say bad credit on was that this TCU team, like, they did lose everybody after last year. Like, literally everybody. So that's the only thing I can say is, like, maybe they played a team that wasn't as good as they thought they did, but still, they came out there and balled out, dude. Like, dude, I want to see them play some. I don't want to say better team because TCU is good, but I can't wait to see them play. I want to see their schedule actually.
Shadir came out and threw 510 yards, a Colorado single game record, 4 touchdowns, 38 passes. Let's talk about Travis Hunter. He's apparently your favorite player of all time now.
Literally, dude, I am so bandwagoning this team right now because, like, if you're a true football lover and you watch this team play, dude, it is just amazing. It's so just fun to watch. Like, he plays both sides, and on both sides of the ball is the best player on the field. At an elite level.
Exactly.
Like, it's insane. So, dude, they got some really good games coming up. So after Colorado State, they're playing Oregon with Bo Nix. Oregon's got Bo Nix, right?
Yeah, they do.
They got Bo Nix. I'm really high on Bo Nix. I've been loving him since I think he played at Auburn, and
I've
been loving him.
This dude's been in college for like 10 years.
I think is he the guy that they did the graphic on where he was like 8 years old in the crowd at an Auburn game?
I think so. You're right.
But I liked him. I watched one of his first games ever played at Auburn. I was trying to think if that was him, but I haven't heard his name in a minute because I thought he was already out of college until I saw this year. I haven't been keeping up with college football that much other than like the bigger names. So then after that, he plays Caleb Williams. They play Caleb Williams, USC, in Colorado. That's going to be probably
those are back-to-back weeks.
And also what's wild, I think, is all their game times for these are to be determined. And I wonder if that's because they just realized, like, we got to
It's definitely because they have to put Coach Prime in prime time, 100%.
Yeah.
And again, for all the listeners, this is the last year of the Pac-12. So, like, this is the last year that we're going to get Colorado going up against Oregon, going up against USC, going up against Oregon State, who they have the Clemson transfer. I'll give you $5 if you can say his name right. The
Ukulele?
Ukulele, yeah, exactly. So, like, dude, Colorado's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year.
Clemson did last night, didn't you?
Oh yeah, got dogged by Duke.
God,
when has Duke football been anything? For real, dude, the stripes on the fucking jerseys, I hate that.
I just think it's gonna be so fun to see what this Colorado team does. Like I said, them being TCU really isn't like a huge like.
I think it is.
It's
they were 21-point underdogs.
For them, it's huge, but we don't know who TCU is until next week. So TCU.
How long before Colorado, if any, they might get ranked this week?
So,
maybe
they're
in the
ranked.
20s, but are they
22nd?
Yeah, there you go.
So I think that they can beat Nebraska and Colorado State if they play the way they did. But if they beat Oregon, that's whenever people are going to be like, all right, this team might be like a national championship team.
At Oregon as well.
And it's at Oregon. And then if they beat Oregon and then beat USC, it's over. They're going to be a top 5 team. They're like immediately.
My question was how long before they get ranked? How long before they get in the top 10?
top 10 though. If they beat Oregon and USC, they'll be top 5. Like there's no.
Because everybody is going to be high on. Which, granted, they show you why you should be high on them, but everybody's going to be high on Colorado.
And then what's gonna be wild is if we see them go undefeated or something this year and they end up playing someone like Alabama or something. Oh my god!
They somehow get into the playoff. But the Pac-12 is facts. The Pac-12 is super good. Colorado, like, they have a hard test. It's the only Power 5 conference, which I think is hilarious, that is undefeated through week 1 because this is the last year of the Pac-12, sadly.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think they have the primetime Fox game next week, the big noon kickoff. Their Coach Prime's home debut against a terrible Nebraska team led by Matt Rule. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's bad coach.
They get running.
They should put up like 40, 50 points on Nebraska.
On the sports books.
Against Nebraska?
I wonder if they're going to be... The fact that they were a 21-point underdog, I didn't even know about that. Because I told myself, dude, I'm not going to be gambling college or anything like that right now. I want to hit those anytime touchdowns on Sundays. That's
the line right now, they're 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 59.5.
Jesus.
I put in 2 parlays this weekend, and I was 1 leg off of both of them. They were like 3 or 4 parlays, 3 or 4 legs, and I was 1 leg off of both of them. That's so wild. The start of my year has already been heartbreaking. But hey, we have Thursday night football coming up, and we have week 1 of the NFL on Sunday, which I'm going to be putting some coin down.
Hey, Travis Hunter's a plus 110. He's the only player playing both sides of the football. So
I don't know, man. Anything else you want to talk about, though?
That's about it. Thank you guys for watching the video or the podcast or listening to the podcast.
If you're an hour in, you're a legend.
If you're an hour in, on YouTube. What you're going to do right now is go on to YouTube, find our latest video, comment 1 hour in this bit. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, say 1 hour in. But, yeah, that's pretty good.
I got nothing else to say.
Yeah. Like I said, subscribe to our YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on our podcast if you liked it. And peace.